Hello everyone, myself Riyas from Visual Communication Department, JJ College of Arts and Science, Pudukkottai. Today we are talking about basic photography. First of all, what is photography? The word of photography literally means drawing with light, which derives from the Greek photo, meaning light and grab. Meaning to draw, photograph is the process of recording an image, a photograph, on light sensitive film or in the case of digital photography via digital electronic or magnetic memory. It's called photography. Today talk about basic photography. The 6 things to know for basic photography terms and conditions. Know your camera, hold the camera still, the 2-second rule, take a few more, tell a story, and finally capture the mood. The 6 things to know for basic photography. And cell composition, C for composition, E for exposure, L for lens, and L for light. Cell was important to better photograph to next level. Composition, principle 1. Unclutcher the picture or zoom in. A good photograph is a subject, a context, and nothing else. Remove any clutter that distract from your message. So get closer, zoom in, and crop as tightly as soon as possible. Composition, principle 2. Put subject of center and rules of third. The center of the frame is the weakest place. Is a static, dull, and give no value to the context. The more you move the subject away from the center, the more relevance you give the context. Composition, principle 3. Use of frames, lines, and diagonals. Create impacts by the frames and real or infrared lines. They lead the viewer's eye into the around the picture. Composition, principle 4. Dramatic perspective. Create impact by photographing to your subject from unexpected angle. Imagine yourself as an electron spinning around the subject, which is the nucleus of an atom. Exposure, A for aperture, S for shutter speed, ISO. The three rules of golden rules in photography. Aperture, general rules and tips. A larger lens opening, example f1.8 or 3.5, offer the following advantages. Allow you to shoot more often within just natural lighting. It helps to reduce harsh shadows and red eye causes by flash. And another one allows more light to pass through. The camera will be able to choose a slightly higher shutter speed. It helps to reduce motion blur. Helps to reduce depth of field for effects control in shutter speed or aperture control. Aperture principle affect depth of field. Examples for range of distance in focus. When shooting a landscape, as much as of the photograph in sharp focus as possible. Example f11 to f22. In a portrait, shallower depth of field f2.8 or 8 will isolate your subject from distracting backgrounds. Shutter speed to capture blur-free action photographs. Example sports and high frame photographs. You need to make sure the camera is using high shutter speed. Example 1/125, it's a second or more. Less lights get through to the image sensor as shutter speed is increased. Those difficult to use higher shutter speeds in lower lighter situations. Alternatives allow more light to pass through from the lens or the sensor. Larger aperture settings. The other is to increase the ISO value for motion free photos or photographs. Shutter speed principle 1. Freezing motion. Achieve the desired effect. Absolutely sharp images are not always the best. They can look static and dull. At slow shutter speed, the camera blurs the image of moving objects and can create a more convincing image of movement. ISO general rules and tips. ISO settings are often rated at 100, 200, 400, 800 and above some models. Use an ISO of 100 or 200 when taking photograph outside in sunny condition. If the sky is overcast or is the evening time or in a darkened room, they use an ISO within the range of 400 to 800. Or night time or in case of low light situation, you may need to set your digital camera ISO to 1600 and above. If not, your photo will appear too dark if at all. ISO setting principle: set the lowest setting possible to avoid noise, digital noise. ISO measures the sensitivity of the image sensor. The lower the number of the less sensitive your camera is to light and the thinner the grains. Example, ISO 100 is low value and quality is better. Another one, ISO 3200 has higher ISO value is noisy and grainy image to take so much dull image. And another L for lens, wide angle 35 mm or telephoto 70 mm. Wide angle lenses allow more of a picture to be captured, while telephoto lenses tighten the scene and isolate the subject, but affect the depth of field and increase the camera shakes. And another L for light. Principle 2, side lighting inside the front of overhead noontime lighting. The uses of frontal flash, lighteners of flattened faces. Use side lighting as much as possible, even moving subject also if necessary, next to a window. Light, use fill in flash for backlight situation or overhead sun. Overhead sun create dark eye sockets and unattractive shadows which can be reduced by using a flash. Use fill in flash also for situation where the subject is backlight. Camera auto exposure will be confused. So guys, today topic is over, basic photography. And finally, thank you.